So we've got that. Now, remember, the last time, this is another big issue. The last time they had a bird flu scare, they tried to inoculate a bunch of people with experimental shots that had nothing to do with even the pathogen that people, the virus that people are getting sick from. But folks still line up and take flu shots, even though the last 6 years, or is it 7 years? I know they missed again last year. The viral spectrum, it's several different viruses they come up with that they guess the mutations will be the next year. So they got to guess the mutation. It hasn't been the big flu that kills so many people. I mean, it never works, and it has mercury in it, and it's tied to Alzheimer's, and that's mainstream news. A shot-in-the-dark swine flu vaccine lessons, Washington Post, and I just thought I'd mention that because, remember, the swine flu vaccine in 76 and 77 killed a bunch of people, and the government admitted then, it caused Guillain-Barré's autoimmune situation. So we don't want that to happen. There's another flu strain U.S. officials are tracking. Again, this was from Tuesday when they were tracking the swine flu, but saying it was no problem. And now you know what's going on there. Okay. Do we have any callers from Mexico? Jameer in Mexico. Let's go to Jameer. And then I got more coming up, and I'll recap everything. But this is calls from Mexico. Jameer in Mexico. Thank you for calling, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey there, Alex. Well, I just moved down here a couple of months ago, and I'm actually from Texas. And right now what's going on is that they're pretty much closing down what's Nuevo Leon and Tamaulipas, which are pretty much border states here in Mexico. There's military police, and there's also government officials from hospitals in the bus stations and in the airports. I don't know about Mexico City. I really don't want to go there. Just pretty much I've been staying here up north, and we've been thinking of going back to the States right now.
Yeah, out of the fire into the oven, as they say.
Yeah.
Can you specifically, as an eyewitness, email Kurt? That's his new email, right? Kurt at Infowars.com, correct, Jaron? Kurt at Infowars.com, Jaron? Anybody in Mexico, anybody in Kansas, anybody in San Antonio, anybody in Canada where they've had outbreaks of this, but especially Mexico, the epicenter, be sure and email Kurt at Infowars.com. We'll create a page today and tomorrow as those come in with your eyewitness reports. BBC's doing the same thing. What do you think of these reports in the BBC that medical doctors in Mexico City are saying that the death toll is over 200, not 68?
Yeah, I would believe that because here pretty much, they don't want to alarm people. They suspended classes down here on, I think it was 34th or 23rd. And there's been on TV, they've been saying, calm down if you have any of these, coughing, that kind of stuff. Go to the hospital. I've been watching TV. There's people lining up in the hospitals checking themselves, but they're not wearing anything, and they're pretty much close together. So if somebody does have the swine flu, it's good, those people that weren't affected.
Yeah, it's a great place to catch it is the hospital. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Just crazy. So there's a lot of panicking going on, which can create kind of a stampede to go to the places where the virus is floating around. Right. Terrible. Let me bring this up to you, and then I want to get your take on it. Mexico flu, your experiences, BBC. And this is up on, again, prisonplanet.com and Infowars.com. You want to find it easy. Readers in Mexico have been emailing the BBC describing the sense of fear gripping the country as a result of the flu virus outbreak. And the government's locked down Mexico City, has troops on the streets everywhere. As you just heard, I've confirmed mainstream news. They are moving troops to the border on both sides. Notice how Homeland Security said they were worried about things collapsing the last few months and already moved troops down there. This could be a cover for them knowing revolution was at the tipping point in Mexico. Now this panic makes everybody forget about starving to death, living under tyranny, living under the drug lords, living under the government, and now come to the government for support. That's another Machiavellian angle we've got to look at. I'm not saying that's the case. We're just analyzing every possible angle because governments have proven they're capable of anything. And normally it's bad behavior. The World Health Organization says the virus has the potential to become a pandemic. Read a selection of BBC readers' comments. And then when I Googled this guy's name and it came up in Mexico at a major hospital. I work as a resident doctor in one of the biggest hospitals in Mexico City, and sadly, the situation is far from under control. As a doctor, I realize that the media does not report the truth. Authorities distribute vaccines among all the medical personnel with no results because 2 of my patients who worked in the hospital interns were killed by the new virus in less than 6 days, even though they were vaccinated, as all of us were. The number of deaths is 20 in our hospital. Nevertheless, the true number of victims are more than 200. I understand that we must avoid panic, but telling the truth, it might be better now to prevent and avoid more deaths. Yeni Gregorio Davila, Mexico City. And here's one of the stories I forgot to print, guys, or it did print, but my printer was dead. Google immediately, man who shook Obama's hand dead. That was Reuters. The Mexican official, this is how many people are dead in Mexico, and I believe they are covering something up. That's starting to come out. The federal dignitary that met him and shook his hand with President Calderon has died of the flu. So, official that shook Obama's hand dead of flu. Will you pull that up for me? Thank you. Again, it really screwed me up that I was printing for hours, not looking that my printer was out of ink, and then it was showtime because I can't really click and surf the web while I'm on air. And again, we're kind of a skeleton crew here tonight, so I apologize. But a lot of stuff is coming in as that develops, but I want to give you the source on that. That right there, that the guy that, I'm not saying Obama had anything to do with that. I'm saying that shows the number of people that are really dead here, that statistically the guy that's shaking Obama's hand is, you know, the guy that is there to greet Obama is dead. And I want the government's official name. That's coming up. Specifically, what is Mexican TV and radio saying? Specifics about them saying they're moving to block the border towns on the Mexico side into Texas.
That I'm not sure, but what they are doing, they are blocking the northern states from the central and southern ones. That's
okay, so they're blocking state borders from in El Norte. They're blocking northern states in Mexico from central and southern states.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're saying. Okay, because
yes,
when you said Nuevo Laredo, correct? You did say that. That's up on the Texas border.
Right. That's Nuevo Leon. That's the state next to Tamaulipas, which are the 2 bordering ones from Texas.
Okay, so let me be straight with this. You're saying they're blocking Nuevo Leon from southern Mexican states, or they're blocking on the Rio Grande into the United States?
No, they're blocking from the southern states. That's what I've heard on TV. They're trying to do that now.
Okay, so the quarantine... Call Aaron in here because I know he's busy on something else. I want to make sure he goes and checks that they're sealing border states. I want to see if we can get a mainstream confirmation. I should get my wife in here. She speaks and reads Spanish, grew up in Spain. That would really help us with this. But we'll get more calls from Mexico. I know we have literally dozens of phone calls here from all over the United States and Europe and everywhere else, but I particularly want to hear from folks in Mexico. Anything else, sir, from Mexico?
Not at the moment. Pretty much they're just saying stay at home, don't go to public places, don't shake anybody's hand, don't, you know how they have that custom of saying hi with, kissing the cheek, don't do that, just wash your hands regularly, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, and I sent my wife today, because we have it somewhere in storage, but, you buy something 5 years ago and can't find it. Our little boogie pack is now buried in the garage in boxes and storable foods and, luscious firearms and things. But the whole point is that I was scrabbling around today looking for masks. If there's a 1% chance, my children are number one. They're my life, and I'm looking for the mask, and I got gas masks, but I don't want to put those on the kids, because I'm going to wait and see if anything happens if they go out. I want them to wear it. They would start spreading in Austin. I mean, people are being quarantined in San Antonio, south of me. We're kind of in the same position, you and I, down here in Mexico, and then and myself near the border. And we couldn't find the mask, so I sent her to Walgreens and H-E-B, sold out. So luckily my dad is a dentist, and I called up my dad and said, will you bring me 3 packages of those from your dental office in the morning before you take my kids to church with you? So I'm going to have those. But, I mean, folks have already snatched all these things off the shelf, and my wife was noticing that a lot of the antivirals were off the shelves, you know, the elderberry and things. So I don't know, it's very serious. Anything else, sir?
No, pretty much that's it. And I think I'm going to go get some myself. I've been reading the grade I should get is N95, which is the best for stopping any viruses or bacteria.
There's also different classes of mushrooms that are out there. You can just Google flu mushrooms that are, you know, proven. Tamiflu causes suicides, crazy behavior. The Japanese government's basically banned it. I saw reports a few years ago when people panicked and were taking it when there wasn't even a problem.
You're listening to GCN, the world leader in independent talk radio.